Are we good to go? Hi, everyone. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Thank you guys all for being here to celebrate the 21st Jim Brady's head shaving event. While we didn't foresee us being virtual again this year, I know even last year we had pushed off our event a couple months in hopes that we would be at Jim Brady's celebrating together. It's just great to still see everyone's face and appreciate everyone's continued support. You know, a lot of the words that have described this past year, you know, when we talk about fear and chaos and change, I guess that's just a small glimpse in what families that face a cancer diagnosis experience on a daily basis. It's an endless fear and isolation and worry as they navigate the journey and limited passive treatment to find the cures that are needed for pediatric cancer. So we will hear shortly from Margie Sheeker and Susan Hurd and Liza Sheeker, who are two of our honored families who will share a little bit about their experiences and how this journey impacted their lives. Matt Gallagher was one of our leading fundraisers last year, and I hope he doesn't mind, but a quote from an email that we exchanged earlier today when describing some of the upcoming tests he has for his son, Ian, really struck me. And he says, "It's just a reminder that there are no straight lines in this journey. There is always another test, another uncertainty, and another worry. However, we have several paths to get him better. We are just hoping and praying that the path will be whatever is easiest and best for him." We've all been together on this journey, and I think we can all agree that supporting the science and the research to tackle pediatric cancer is why we're all here today and why we continue to show up year after year. The science, the supporting the science and the research to tackle this is ingrained in every fiber of DNA of the foundation, and we really want to make sure and ensure that this journey ends well for every family. So we've had some amazing years in 21 years. Just to recap, last year, Jim Brady's came in 9th place overall worldwide, and we raised $276,000. We had 3 of the top participants with John Jennings, Matt Gallagher, and our friend here today, Michael Fried. You know, and as a flagship event for Jim Brady's, we have such a proud history. Since 2004, our event has raised $5.4 million. That's just astronomical. And, you know, I couldn't be prouder of everyone. So when we, with that being said, we couldn't be here today without Paul Quinn, who opened his door to 3 crazy insurance executives, Tim Kenny, who's with us today, who placed a friendly wager to raise $17,000 on March 17th by shaving 17 heads. Little did they know that what they were about to start would turn into something that's raised $305 million since 2005 alone. The foundation has been the #1 supporter of pediatric cancer behind the US government. So it's just, words can express, you know, for everyone that's been touched with cancer and everyone that's taken part in this journey and this battle. It's, you know, I year after year, it brings me tears of joy and seeing everyone's faces and everyone come together for this cause. You know, as we know, unfortunately, race doesn't matter, socioeconomic status doesn't matter. You know, a child is diagnosed with cancer in the United States, sadly, every 2 minutes. So with that being said, I want to thank everyone for the continued support. We have 8 shavees going to be shaving today with us. We have a great lineup of speakers from Susan Hurd and Liza Sheeker's family. We have Tim Kenny, who's going to be presenting from the board of directors, and Dr. Lipton. With much happiness, I have the pleasure of introducing the Sheeker family. So Margie's been an honored child of ours for so many years. When she was 2.5 years old, she underwent treatment for 2.5 years and has been cancer-free since January of 2014. Liza, her mom, has supported and been a strong advocate of the foundation for so many years, and has even shaved her head for us on 2 occasions now.
Three, yeah.
Three. Oh my God, 3.
Yeah.
So I have the pleasure of introducing that. As you can see, the hope that Margie has to be a prima ballerina for the Royal Dance Troupe. So Margie, thank you for being here today. Your continued presence in our event and your mom's support has meant a lot to us. So I just, I wanted to take a little time, and maybe you can tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, I'm currently a 7th grader. I'm 12, and I've been doing ballet for about 9 years. And well, even when I had cancer and was in the hospital for just so long, it didn't really matter. I'd do it. I'd even teach it to the nurses.
You throw that out? Go ahead.
Them if they were making little mistakes. And yeah, honestly, just doing dance, it kind of made my life a little bit more normal, because when I was in the hospital, that's all I really cared about, was having a more normal life, like all the kids at my preschool and kindergarten. So when I was, dancing, I was like, oh, it's okay. I'm living a normal life. It's fine. And it's like I understood what was wrong with me and that I had leukemia, but it's like I was so used to it that it was kind of just normal life. And just seeing St. Paul just raising so much money for other kids. I know someone who had cancer. She's actually my friend from camp, and she didn't make it. So I'm really glad that St. Paul has helped so many kids, and that it's helped me. And I'm really glad that it was able to help a lot of people. It can't save all, but it can do it for a lot of people.
Thank you. We are so proud of you, and your mom keeps us up to date on what's going on. And we know, Liza, and how this has touched your family, and how you continue to be advocates for other families navigating this journey. Any words in general to the healthcare practitioners and as we march forward?
Sure. What you do matters. It matters even more during a pandemic. I can't even, as hard as it was when we went through it, having a pandemic on top of it, like a constant worry that your child is going to get sick and might not be able to fight this off. It's like a whole nother layer of fear, on top of so many layers of fear. And so my only advice for those families right now is to share how you're feeling. It's okay to be afraid. It's totally expected and normal. And find little ways tools to decompress, tools to just simple little things. Like Margie, when you're on a lot of these medications and often not feeling good, it's hard for a kid to process what they're going through. So when you're on all these heavy steroids, and she might get really upset and be unable to calm down. And it's hard when you're so tightly wound as a parent when your child's sick to remember that it's okay and to just try and stay calm. We had it out a few times. There's nothing like, trying to, reason with a 4-year-old who's having a tantrum while on, dexamethasone. So it's quite something. But we learned how to breathing exercises and lifting our arm, teaching your child that it's not them, it's just the medicine. And we just learned ways of how to calm each other down and to help each other through. So I would think now it would be more important than ever, because things are it's a strange world we're living in right now. We're all feeling isolated. We're all scared. And families with cancer patients even more so. And so what everyone here today is doing matters so much in coming up with therapies to help kids like Margie to live, to reach whatever potential they can, however long you're going to have in this life. Just her getting these opportunities to even be a ballerina, to dance, and now move on and shoot for some really big goals that she has. And that's really been fun to see. So a thank you, everyone, for all the work you're doing. It's just amazing.
Well, I think the hashtag of the foundation of Give Kids a Lifetime speaks volumes of everyone that's been part of this foundation, and that's our hope for every family. So we we thank you for your continued support. Oh, something's running. But thank you guys, and Margie, we look forward to seeing you on stage one day. So next, I'm going to introduce Tim Kenny. He doesn't need an introduction for most people that are familiar with the Jim Brady's event. Tim is one of the founders of the foundation, as well as chairman emeritus of the St. Baldrick's Foundation. I won't embarrass him by his illustrious insurance career, but Tim, if you could say some words on the foundation's behalf, and that would be great. Thank you.
Of course. Hi, everybody. Just before I do, Margie, you're an inspiration, and you inspire us to keep doing what we do within the St. Baldrick's Foundation and to raise money for awareness and research. And, we'd like to cure everybody, but the fact that someone as beautiful as you is living a normal life, it is a total inspiration to someone like me as a founder. So thank you for being on. The foundation, I'm not going to get into the history. I think, Colleen, you've covered that, but I do want to thank you and your team, Kara and Kim, for organizing the 18th event, I think. Is it your 18 years?
14 years, but.
All right. It feels like 18, but we feel like you've been around from the very beginning. So thank you. You guys do a great job. And, it's been a very interesting year, as everyone has said here before. The thing that I took away from what has passed since last year, I had a newfound respect for wearing a mask. When you think about it, when kids have cancer, they have to wear a mask pretty much every day. And I never heard a child complain about it, but I know there's a lot of adults who have complained about wearing masks and the like, but it gave me a perspective of, in addition to what the children go through, I think wearing a mask, they don't even think about it because it's part of the, cure, I guess, in a way. So that was very inspirational for me. The foundation, I won't talk about too many numbers, but it's been a real challenging year. As you know, we had a virtual event last year, right around now, I guess, Colleen.
May of last year. Yeah,
and we the good thing about last year is that we had raised a lot of funds prior to COVID. We raised 99% of our funds through credit cards at this point, but the prior year, we raised 36 million. Last year, we were lucky enough to raise 25. This year, it's going to be a lot less than that. And what that has caused us to do, we've had a lot of board meetings the past year. We've had a lot of finance committee meetings that I sit on and chair. And, we've had to do what a lot of other companies did. We're a big organization of, we were close to 100 people at one point. Well, we've had to downsize. We had a retrenchment of people. Unfortunately, some people left voluntarily. Some people, we just couldn't carry the expense load. And that's kind of behind the scenes, not that important, but it is important from the perspective that if we don't raise funds commensurate with what our expenses are, then the whole thing is out of kilter. I won't bore you with that, but from that perspective, it's been a year where, thank God, we have the board that we do and the commitment and the committees, because we ran the company like it is. It's a foundation, but it's a big company. It was a $36 million revenue company when you think about it from that perspective. But most importantly, the commitment to fundraising and the commitment by the board to go after major gifts, etc. we're continuing to do it exactly the same way, other than it's mostly virtual. We are hopeful that next year we will be back bigger and better, as Jeff had said earlier. But we've got to kind of play day by day and see how things go. We can't put people in danger, obviously, or we follow all the rules and CDC and the information that's given to us. And we probably won't have a physical event this year, unless maybe later in the year. But I just want to thank everybody for what you do as volunteers, as shavees, as survivors. It's what keeps me doing this 21 years later. And as Colleen said, little did we know when we raised the challenge and I asked the guys to do something, and that we'd be millions, hundreds of millions of dollars later, and having dealt with, a COVID situation which nobody ever anticipated. So I think the foundation is in good financial shape. We've managed it that way this past year. Well, we've always managed it that way, but it was a lot easier when you're raising $36 million. But I just want to thank every constituent, regardless of what you do for St. Baldrick's. It is really appreciated, and I know on behalf of the board, I know it's really, really understood and respected, and we are so thankful. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce Dr. Jeff Lipton, whom I know you probably all know. I always screw up your bio, but put it like this. Jeff, I know, is the Director of Hematology, Oncology, and Stem Cell Transplantation at Collins Children's Medical Center, which is part of it. I call it the Northwell Group now, Jeff. And Jeff's been on our board for many years. He's ran our scientific advisory committee for many years, and that's a huge committee of the board. That they're the ones who reviewed the grant applications that we get. 3 pediatric oncologist researchers review each one of them, and they grade them. And we're now lucky that we're giving grants to basically the best. And they make their recommendation, and the board approves each and every grant at our quarterly board meetings. So without further ado, Jeff is one of the guys that does all the work behind the scenes, and we do the fundraising, and so does he. But he's the scientist and the magician. But Jeff, the floor is yours. And thank you, everybody.
Thank you. First of all, I want to thank Colleen.
Dr. Lipton, you're actually muted right now. You might want to.
Yeah, I was talking to myself. I do that all the time anyhow, but I had an excuse this time. I want to thank Colleen and all the organizers and all the shavees for all that you do. And Tim is right. My responsibility is the stewardship of your philanthropy, and I think that's critically important. And what was particularly difficult about this year is that while COVID intervened, cancer did not go away. And from the standpoint of the clinicians, the clinician scientists, and the laboratory investigators, we treated it that way. We saw COVID as something that was going to come and was something that was going to go. A tribute to the scientists who developed the vaccines and the perseverance of the American people to get us through this. And I am optimistic about the future. And I speak about this all the time. And in listening to Margie, she clearly is one of many of the inspirations for all of us. The goal really for me is quite simple. It's to cure 100% of the children with no side effects at a reasonable cost. And that's not asking too much. It's taken a while. I can say when I was born, childhood leukemia was incurable, absolutely incurable. And now, just a few years later, 90% of children with acute lymphoblastic leukemia are cured. So if you can see the arc of that in one person's lifetime, think about what Margie is going to see in her lifetime. I think we're talking about the eradication of almost all cancer. I don't want it to take more than 60 years for that to happen. But I'm extraordinarily optimistic. So what are the challenges? Well, the challenges are, as Tim stated, philanthropy is down. Our ability to give grants is diminished. But we are persevering. And I have to tell you that the investigators who have been affected by this, who've had to reduce the size of their labs, we run a small business in our laboratories, not able to hire postdocs, not able to hire graduate students, not affording all of the reagents, not able to do the preliminary experiments that lead to data that allow us to get federal grants. So for every dollar you donate, somewhere in the range of $5 to $10 accrue to that investment. So the ROI for your philanthropy is extraordinary. So, I just want to highlight a couple of things. This year, St. Baldrick's Foundation has continued to support the really groundbreaking research in immunotherapy. And it's a nascent art, and I think you've all heard about the CAR T cells. But our ability to harness the patient's immune system to fight cancer has been something devoutly to be wished for decades, and we're almost there. We certainly are doing it reasonably successfully in leukemia, and we're looking forward to doing it in solid tumors and to treat some of the worst actors, the diseases where cure rates are well below 50%. And St. Baldrick's the St. Baldrick's Foundation has been the single most robust contributor to that work. Also, the Children's Oncology Group, federal funding is down for this work, and St. Baldrick's Foundation has buttressed that work. So every child who is eligible for a clinical trial can be placed on that clinical trial because St. Baldrick's provides the infrastructure to over 200 institutions in the United States, Canada, and some worldwide to support that research. So for me, it's a single-minded dedication from the first patient I met as an intern to patients I see every day. We can't do it without you. And I look at the group here as a core group who has not been dissuaded from the mission. We just need to maintain the momentum so that when people aren't worried about their own safety, aren't concerned about the health of their family and their neighbors, and can refocus on raising money for St. Baldrick's, we can reach and exceed that $36 million philanthropy that has been characteristic of this. I have been on the board for a very long time, serving 2 terms, and I'm about to term out. And I'll be speaking to Tim about how I can maintain my relationship with St. Baldrick's. This is, in my world, there's a lot of people who want my time to be a pitchman for different philanthropies. And I actually, when I raise money for St. Baldrick's, in some unusual way, I'm competing with the imperatives of my own institution. I tell them, take me for what I am, because I am loyal to St. Baldrick's, and I think supporting research throughout the United States and the world is all I care about. And I don't give the proverbial rat's ass about who does that work. We just need to fund the best work possible. So I want to thank you all, and apologize that I'm going to have to sign out because the day is getting late for clinical decision making, and I have a few more things I need to do today. But again, Margie, I fully expect to be at the New York Ballet or wherever you perform. I will be there. I have a passing interest in ballet. Now I am its biggest fan. So thank you all, and really keep up the good work. And I will be wherever I need to be in person next year. We all will. So thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. And you're not going anywhere. We know where you live. We know where you work. So you may be terming off, but you're going to be terming on to a lot more. So thank you.
I am happy to do this. As long as I draw breath, St. Baldrick's is on my mind.
We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Lipton. It's just as a father and a grandfather and a husband, he has committed to his whole life to research and finding cures and finding the best of treatments, like so many of the doctors that the foundation supports and works with. So luckily we have advocates like him and folks that have dedicated their lives to helping our children and hopefully finding the best cures possible. Next, I'd like to introduce Susan Hurd. Susan's been a strong supporter of the foundation and been an honored family of the Jim Brady's event for years. Unfortunately, for Susan and her family, the clock ran out and we weren't able to find a cure in time for her son, David. She's gonna talk a little bit about David and the advocacy she's done since David's passing. And Susan, we appreciate your continued support of Jim Brady's in the foundation.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity for this. I mean, this is, to me, St. Patrick's Day never really had much of a meaning. I'm an Italian by trade, but since I've been with St. Baldrick's and this particular holiday has been so much, and especially my time with Jim Brady's and all of you here, and Colleen and Kara, thank you for your leadership, for organizing an amazing event, and for making Jim Brady's like my home for St. Patrick's Day. I miss having lunch, our boiled dinner, and some beers as we sit and watch the head shave. So, but here we are, and it's an interesting year for me as a human. David should be 21 in May this year. He died when he was 10, so he's been gone for 10 years, and he lived for 10 years. And that's always an interesting dynamic to think about. He was diagnosed in 2008. And in 2010, we were getting all these gifts and he was kind of put off by that. And he said, isn't there a way that we can make a difference? Can't we help like kids like me? And I did not know St. Baldrick's. So this is, 2010, shame on me, because Tim and his band of rowdy lunatics shaving heads had been going on. And I didn't know about it and I didn't support it and I didn't pay attention. But of course I was paying attention at that time in 2010 and we found St. Baldrick's and David was registered as an honored kid. And we went to our first event in April of 2010 and he was in remission from neuroblastoma, which had truly a terrible survival statistic. And we got to the event and David had wanted to share his own story. So the volunteer organizer was gracious enough to give him the microphone. And he wraps up his little talk showing his shark bite scar because he was cut, across his whole abdomen for his resection. And he says, we're going to kick things off with my mother shaving her head. And the mother was like, okay, all right. I mean, we're going to do this because, there's nothing any parent wouldn't do for their child. And, he asked and we were in front of a very large crowd and I sat down, I didn't raise $1. They put that cape on me and shaved off my hair. And it truly changed our lives. The experience that all of you guys, and so many of these names are familiar after all these years being at Jim Brady's, but you guys know what it's like to be bald. But that first time when you're like, wow, I'm bald. That was a pretty amazing moment. And it really transformed as David relapsed and eventually died in February of 2011. It gave us a point of reference from where to work with our grief. And, we directed all of the memorial funds to St. Baldrick's. And we got involved right away. And then I decided, and I worked in higher education for years, and I love the college age student. So if anybody has those types of kids around and you need some help with college applications, career advice, that's my training. But I felt like I could do more, and David sort of asked me to do more. And I was lucky enough to get hired at the foundation in 2012, so 9 years ago. I came to the staff of St. Baldrick's, and it's always been, for me, this is not a job. It's really just what I do. It's what I live and breathe every day, and I'm so grateful to do this. And the first time I came to Jim Brady's was 2013, and I remember walking in and knowing this was a huge event, and our flagship event and the signature event. And I was terrified because I thought, oh my gosh, all these people and so many amazing professionals and so much money was raised. And it's become home to me. And I really do feel so grateful to be with you guys today and to share a little bit about David. He loved to read his books and ride his bike and swim in the ocean. And he's still missed every day. He's thought about his younger sister is now in college, and she's planning to become a nurse because she thinks that she'd like to help children who have cancer. And I think that's amazing. And I think it's transformed all of us. Our entire DNA is different because of the experience of having a child with cancer, but then also seeing the power of fundraising and the power of the money that's been raised in this room year after year, and across all of our events around the country, around the world, to know the impact that millions of dollars funneled into the research to be granted back out to the brilliant minds that can look at these problems of cancer and say, we can fix this. And, personally, for me, with neuroblastoma, it's it's one of the harder ones to treat. And there weren't a lot of opportunities after relapse and whatnot. But interestingly, because of research that was funded by St. Baldrick's, there has been some incredible advancements in the past decade since David's been gone. And I think, to me, that's the most hopeful reason to keep coming back every year, because the change that happens with all these dollars that are raised and the research that transforms for families who are being diagnosed now is critically important, and so much is at stake, because when a child is sick, the whole family is sick, and the impact is really lifelong. So I am so excited to see all the heads that are very, very hairy and definitely shaved.
They're ready.
And I got to tell you, so I shaved, I think, 14 times. I would go to different events, and suddenly I was like, oh, all right, we're shaving it off. And I actually said I would shave for David's, his 10-year, we call it a glitterversary, the day that he passed. And I haven't done that. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. But
we'll save you for next year. We need you as we transition from all the years at Jim Brady's, and Paul Quinn supported us as we move on. So we'll take you up on that next year.
Yeah, Tali and I are going to do it together next year, I think, right? And we'll
thank you, Susan. We appreciate your time, and I know Liza and Kim and Kara have all shaved for the foundation. I think Liza's response when she got home the first year she shaved, and Margie saw her shaved head, was probably the most priceless picture that we've seen of the foundation and what it stands for, the solidarity with kids with cancer. And Liza, I mean, what did she say? Now you look like me, mommy.
She ran out of the house just beaming, and like she'd won on The Price is Right, like, ah! And she said, Mom, you look just like me. And she started feeling my head, and and then Ellen was 8 years old, and she said, Mom, you look so cool. But just that moment of Margie looking at me just in disbelief, and she was so happy, and just rubbing my head. Yeah, it was great. Yeah.
So
that's amazing.
Susan, don't get a haircut for a year, all right?
Oh, here it goes. Well, Tim, it's going to cost you. I told you, we've had this conversation.
That will not be enough. That will not be the problem.
Good.
All right.
I like it.
I like it too.
Well, without further ado, I mean, the foundation, as you guys know, and as we've heard from not only our founders, but our researchers, can't take place unless we have participants, volunteers, and donors to support the family year after year after year. So we have some folks here today, we have 8 shavies that are going to shave off the locks they have. And some of them, are going on 18 years of shaving and showing up and being there for the cause year after year. So I'm so thankful for that. We have a quick video. As you know, there's certain titles that if you've shaved for a certain amount of years. So we put together a honorary video to thank everyone for the League of Legendary Heroes for all you do for St. Baldrick's. So
be it known throughout the realm of St. Baldrick's that certain exceptional volunteers have given 3 or more years of their time, talent, treasure, and sometimes their hair to make life-saving childhood cancer research possible. In recognition, the following noble ladies and gentlemen are henceforth and forever known as members of the most honorable League of Legendary Heroes. We have Kara Owens and Thomas Mayer, who are now Knight Commanders with 10 years of service. We also have Kimberly Brecker, who is now Knight of the Ball Table with 7 years of service. Congratulations to them. We also want to give a special shout out to previously inducted League members, starting with our Squires of Hope, Daniel Walker, Anthony Furia, Glenn Thomas, and Michael Fry. For Knight Commanders, we have Gloria Moy and Colleen Bryan. Crusaders for a Cure, Christopher Petrillo, Dennis Leahy, Robert Connolly, and Bob Anderson. And last but certainly not least, Baron of the Brave, Mr. Tim Kenny. Be it known to all that these members have earned the esteem and heartfelt gratitude of the entire kingdom of St. Baldrick's. All hail the League of Legendary Heroes.
Congratulations, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of our hearts for showing up and raising so much money. And as I said, the Jim Brady's event has raised over $5.2 million since 2004 alone. So that's just astronomical, and just keep up the great work. And as Dr. Lipton said, we may be changing locations, but Paul Quinn and Jim Brady's will forever be at the cornerstone of our event as we change locations, and it will always be the Jim Brady's event. So thank you, Paul, and thank you for your support. And with that being said, we are on to the shaving. I wanted to introduce and recognize our top participant this year. So Mike Freed has been with us for 6 years, and he is at the moment has raised over $23,000. So that's some incredible numbers, Mike. And we have a special video for you, Mike. I think.
Hi, everybody. My name is Kathleen Reddy. I'm the CEO of the St. Baldrick's Foundation, and I thank you for allowing me to crash your event. Colleen Bryan asked me to give a special shout out. I think I have the best job in the world because I get to work with Heroes for Kids with Cancer every day, all of you. And I thank you all for showing up for the kids. But one of you in particular has really gone the extra mile this year. And I want to thank Michael Fry for being your event's top shavee. Michael, I know this is the 6th time you've shaved for us. Thank you so much for constantly keeping kids with cancer in your heart. I also want to recognize you because with about 29 hours to go before your shave, you've raised more than $23,000 this year and more than $147,000 in 6 years. That is extraordinary. And I know that that doesn't happen overnight, that it takes a lot of hard work. And your effort has clearly been as big as your heart. So thank you so much for your dedication. Thanks to all of you for being here today. Have a great shave. We love you.
So Mike, so first up on the shaving block, we have Michael and Bob Anderson. So Bob has also been with us for a large number of years. So constant support, guys. You guys are amazing. You guys are the core. We have so much to be thankful for your continued participation over the years. Are you guys ready to get a haircut?
Ready. just moving outside. Why vacuum when the wind can blow it away?
Well, the missus doesn't want your hairy head inside?
No. Go ahead.
All right, so Mike is gonna go, I think Bob Anderson. Do we see, hey, Bob, you have someone helping you shave your locks? So Mike, who's shaving your head today?
My son, Ian.
Great.
Some thick hair.
Be careful. Now, how did you end up getting involved with the foundation, Mike?
You know, I had really never heard of it. And then when we went to go, when I was at LVL Claims, and we were acquired by Allied World, I saw all of the, posters that were put up around the building. I said, I got to be a part of this. So, and that's how I became part of it.
For those lucky enough to be on Mike's distribution list on the email side, there's nothing funnier than his emails and the way he goes about raising funds. It's relentless, like he was as a claims examiner, and it's just it's impressive. And the foundation and all of us, thank you. Now, Bob, so how many years, Bob, have you been doing this for the foundation? I can't hear you. Can we hear Bob?
No, looks like Bob, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
There you are.
Okay. My laptop sometimes gets funky with the Zoom. It has been 18 years, believe it or not. I had a lot more hair back then. So I'll be sliding backwards. I've shaved at a number of different events. Most recently, last number of years at Jim Brady's. I think the point that really has kept me going was somewhere about the 4th year. We were at an event and the person hosting it was taking before and after photos with us sitting with children who were going through treatment. And I was introduced to a very young lady, probably about 4 years old. And she was going through treatment and she did not want to sit on my lap. And her mother just literally had to hold her in place next to me. And once I was finished shaving and came back to the after photo, when she saw me and she saw what I had done, she had no problem jumping up and sitting on my lap. And we kept in contact with her mother and received a photo a year later. She had a full head of hair. She had put on about 20 pounds and she was in remission. And that's really all I needed to know.
It's amazing. So in those 18 years, you've raised over $44,000 for the cause. That's that's a lot of money. And the foundation thrives on folks that come back year after year. I mean, I know we have our regulars and you've been one of them. And every year we have a couple new folks like, Miles Hunter is going to be shaving in a little bit. It's Miles' first time at Brady. So we are always thankful for newbies, but also the core of our event has been, since it is a flagship event and it has been going on for 21 years, this year you are the person that has the most credentials on the Jim Brady street. So thank you for being part of the event. Who is shaving you today? Uh-oh, we lost you again, sound-wise.
Back? Am I back?
Okay, there you are. You're back.
Okay.
You're
Yes,
back.
my wife is shaving my head, showing my trust in her.
Well, thank you for letting him get nice and bald every year. We appreciate the support.
I don't think my husband would let me shave his head. So.
Yeah, but Kara shaved her head right before her wedding, so she had nice short cropped hair when she got married, as did Kim when she got engaged. So that's a lot of commitment that you guys supported the cause back in those years. Mike, how you doing? Let me see how Mike is before we get to the next crop of shavees.
I'm doing good.
Coming along.
I'm doing good.
All right.
We brought
it's
out
going to take him a while. It's going to take him a while to get through that.
We brought out a different pair of clippers.
Okay.
We brought out the industrial strength. It seems to be working better.
So as you earn money year after year for St. Baldrick's, what is the most that you've learned about the event and about yourself and giving back?
You know, I don't remember if it was after the first time I shaved my head or the second time, but my son, Ian,
hello,
Ian,
said it was the best thing I've ever done
in his life,
in my life.
And I meant it.
And I actually do feel that way. You know, I mean, and even hearing, you know, Margie's story, you know, at the outset of the proceedings today, you know, just myself, and you know this, I had open heart surgery, you know, in the beginning of February, and I'm recovering from that, you know, and I'm doing well with the recovery and all that. It just sent the message home to me that, you know, they were like really young. I'm 61 years old, so I know what's going on with open heart surgery and all that. There are kids who are sick, and they're young, and they don't necessarily understand what's going on with their health, and it's just a crying shame for me, and that's why I'm committed to stay involved with St. Baldrick's.
Well, thank you. And Bob and Mike, we look forward to, of course, having you be part of our live event next year.
Yeah.
So thank you for your commitment. We're going to go to the next group of shavees while you guys finish off your shave. So this is a special duo that that those who attended last year's event may recognize. So Daniel and Declan Walker are a father and son team. So Dan's been with us for a couple of years shaving, and Declan joined him on his side last year. So with that, I'd like to introduce the Walker family.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, wait.
Hey guys. Hey. How you doing today? You excited? Is your dad gonna let you hold those and shave?
Yeah, what's the worst he could do? Take my hair off?
Yeah, exactly. You're gonna look bald either way. So another year, and we are so happy to have you back. I know this is the fourth year for you and the second year for your son. What is the foundation? You know, how did you get involved with the foundation, and what led you to bring Declan into the mix?
So my background, I'm aviation insurance, and two of my reinsurance brokers, Tom McGrath, Tom Dean, knew the founders. So that's how I learned of it years ago. And I remember one year Tom Dean was doing it, and, you know, he was trying to talk me into it. So it was something I was like, all right, one of these days I got to do. And, you know,
you can tell Declan he can start shaving you while we.
And then one year I needed to make a trip into, you know, the city for some meetings, and the only time that I was really free was around St. Patrick's Day. And then I remembered the event was, you know, during St. Patrick's Day. So I decided, I reached out to him, they had the info, and I decided to sign up. And the support I got from, you know, family, my coworkers, and everybody in the aviation insurance community was amazing. So I just decided, I was like, you know, I owe it to all of them for all their support and, all the kids out there that need the help to do it again. So I decided to sign up the following year. I was going back to Jim Brady's again. And at the time, my son was 3. And when they were dropping me off at the bus station to go up into the city, he's like, Daddy, where are you going? So I explained to him. And he's like, well, I want to help raise money for sick boys and girls too. And I was like, well, bud, I was like, you're only 3. You're really not old enough to go to a bar on St. Patrick's Day yet. I was like, so next year when you're 4, you'll be old enough and I'll take you. So, the following year, as promised, I signed him up as well. And obviously last year, nobody ever made it to Jim Brady's and we had to do it virtually. But he still had a blast doing it. So he wanted to do it again this year. And so next year I'm going to, sign him up again and hopefully I could bring him to the city this time and he could see what it's all about in person.
Well, it's great. I mean, you guys have done an amazing job. I mean, Dan in 4 years has raised close to $30,000.
So it's really, it's something that, we're blessed that both of our kids, are 5 and 2 and they're healthy. And, when I hear stories, like we're hearing today, it really, it's really touching, especially as a parent. And it's, I kind of feel honored to represent, the aviation insurance community and everybody that I work with out there. They've been so supportive and so generous. So it's something that, I'm really glad to be a part of and kind of help give everybody that way to really contribute.
I think for those who have raised money over the years for the foundation, you're always almost touched and overwhelmed when you see exactly who puts up money and who makes the donations. It's not always your closest friends and families. It could be colleagues or neighbors that you would not think of. And it's just very touching that everyone comes together and is able to support such an amazing cause or support any nonprofits, with the fundraising being so significantly down. I think the Baldrix Foundation was down roughly 35% year over year. So for people to come and spend time with us today and at least make donations, given what's going on around us and everyone's stress levels, and everyone has chaos in their life, it's all the more meaningful. And, we appreciate, you teaching your son and what a great way to show altruism and to give back. And we are excited to have Declan. We will have a Shirley Temple ready for him at the next shaving event, for sure.
Do you think your 2-year-old's gonna get jealous and want to do it as well?
Well, so funny story. My daughter, last night we were getting ready for bed, and it got brought up, and so she's like, Daddy, I want to shave my head. And I was like, oh, well, you better, you're gonna have to talk to Mommy about that one. It's something that, when she's maybe a little older and she understands, if she wants to do it, I'd be really excited. I mean, it's, I got to say, when I signed Declan up last year to do it, it was kind of hard for everybody to resist a 4-year-old raising money for childhood cancer. It was, it was a real great way to get some extra donations. So I can only imagine if I signed my daughter up, I think she would, be able to really help, and obviously it'd be a great cause. So, it's something that, hopefully maybe one day she would be, she'd be up for doing.
Absolutely. Do you get used to I remember when I shaved my head, I couldn't get used to it being so cold. You don't realize how much heat your hair retains on your head.
It was, I remember the first time I did it 4 years, I was a little nervous, especially Jim Brady's, you're going to get up on stage and do it. And I never had my head shaved before. And it's a lot easier there because you can have a couple beers before you do it.
Yeah.
But after doing it, it was just so much fun. And really, it's, when you're doing it and you're just kind of remembering, I walk around and I'm proud, walking around with that bald head, knowing, what it what it was able to help do. And again, it's, everybody out there in my line of business, all my brokers, my coworkers and family. I mean, every year they are so supportive and so generous. And it's kind of, a lot of them, everybody's spread out throughout the country. So this is kind of a great way for me to kind of bring everybody together and get them involved. And I'm kind of glad being that representative for our industry.
Absolutely.
That's great. Can you get Declan started? We want to see the initial swipe of his head, and we will come back to see what the full look is.
We're gonna do you real quick before you finish me.
He's so cute.
Here, you gotta sit on here.
I like those. Those are the T-shirts from last year that are still stuck in a box in downtown Manhattan. So glad to see that we were able to get a. Well, Declan, do you like being bald?
Your head's gonna feel a lot lighter with no hair on it.
His hair, I mean, I haven't cut his hair in months, so he looks like he's right out of the 80s right now.
Got a little mullet action going on.
Oh, yeah.
Declan, do you remember how it feels on your pillow? It feels so cool on your pillow, right, when you're bald?
Does it feel cool when you're got no hair and you're laying on your pillow?
It makes me when I have hair on my pillow, it's so comfortable.
I'm excited. It's going to be so much easier to dry his hair tonight after he takes a shower.
Yeah. Oh, he's so cute. We appreciate the support of the Walker family. You guys are the best. Swipe away. We're gonna go on to our next group, and we'll come back to see how everyone's shaving is happening.
Yeah, Mike's head is looking, he's all done.
Mike, let me see.
Mike's done.
Yeah, Mike's
Let me see. Oh, looking good. Looking good. Your son did well.
You look good in retirement there.
Wait.
Oh, you're a nice one.
I told Mike with his surgery, he's lost a lot of weight, not to get too skinny on us. He's looking good.
My St. Baldrick's hat, so
Oh, I love that. Mike and Bob, amazing jobs this year, amazing jobs on the fundraiser. Thank you guys for being part and showing up again. So we'll gonna move on to our third group of shavies, and then we'll circle back with everyone, and we'll circle back with the Walker family. So Chris Petrillo and Tom Meyer, Team Guy Carpenter, are next on the. Oh no! Now you're like your sister shave. That's even better. I love it.
I'm gonna have to turn the mic here.
Oh yeah, there's a beautiful new one with the outfits. Hi guys.
Hi everybody. Hi everybody.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Might be a little loud on our end, so I'll try to temper my muting.
Oh no!
No, keep it on.
Keep it on. How is the Petrillo family doing this St. Patrick's Day?
They are excited for this. They're excited for this event for sure. Although I think they both actually have been to Jim Brady's before. Although this guy was like in a baby carrier, I think the last time.
Yeah,
time we were there in person. So
how old are they now?
He's 2 and she's 4.
Wow.
So,
what are their names again?
Emma and Christopher. And this is my wife, Tara. Everyone's wearing matching attire except me. I've got the tie, I guess, to match the sweatshirts. But
is that like the first tie you've worn all of COVID?
Is it what?
Is that the first time you wore a tie all of COVID?
I think it is actually. It's the first time I remembered how to tie it, so it's good. But I wear this one to the event every year, so I kind of couldn't break that tradition,
Very good. We got the Meyer family here too. Tom's even got a nice beard, and he looks like he's got a full head of hair going as well.
Right, I have a Declan of my own here.
Very good.
I have a 8.5-month pregnant wife who's doing the honors here.
Congratulations.
Just pointed to my head and said, yeah, do in May. My Declan just pointed to me and said, do mine. And his mother said, no. So we might wait a couple of years for that little guy. But,
How old is Declan?
he is going to be 2 on Monday. He was due on St. Patrick's Day and got a little too cozy, so he stuck around. Oh, man.
This is, Tom has shaved this is your 10th shave, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
So it's,
someone's keeping track because I keep losing. I don't know how long it's been, so.
And what made you think the first time? Was it people at Carpenter saying that you got to do this, or what drove you to shave?
Chris Petrillo came to me with an interesting proposition, which is I'll buy all your drinks if you shave your head. And at the time, I didn't really seem all too concerned about my hair, and I've had bald friends continue to tell me that I'm going to regret this at some point. But so far, so good, and it's a pretty awesome cause for such a silly thing to be shaving my head, you know. So I think it's a pretty good trade-off for me. So.
Absolutely.
Well, it looks like it grows back well for you, and
yeah, let's hope the good karma continues. That I'm doing it for a good cause, so it keeps coming back, so I can keep doing it. But even if I did it, I'd be coming back to try to at least grow a mustache or something to get the money to shave it off.
Well, there's a lot of people doing lots of different causes now, not only shaving. So we talked about in my town, I think I'm going to do a dying for dollars and try to get a bunch of the moms in my town on board with a different kind of fundraiser for us who are a little too scared to shave their heads. So it's nice to see that people can find different avenues.
A pretty big commitment, especially for you ladies. So I get that. What happened?
Well, we appreciate the support of your wife too for letting you 10 years in still keeping the tradition alive. So it's definitely
I at least have something going on up top once this kid's born in a couple of 6 weeks.
Yeah. Well, we'll get your son aboard in a couple of years, and it'll be a full family affair. Right. Chris Petrillo, I can't see you on the video. Let me see. How's it going on your end?
Is my video not showing up?
Oh, there it is. Yeah. No, all right.
I'm a little patchy right now, but we're
just
getting
keep
there.
it like that.
It's really in right now.
It's really
patchy. So hot right now.
This is really, I'm going to have to touch this one up, I think.
My wife's doing it all over again.
I have to say, having been shorthanded with barbers over the years, nothing gets me more nervous than having to go on stage and shaving everyone's head. So I can feel for the wives and families that are stuck shaving, because it always was a little scary.
I had to cut Ken's hair during COVID, and he's like, "You're never touching me again with any sort of razor or scissors."
Yeah, it's great.
Even one, that's it, you know?
Yeah. Well, we appreciate the foundation has its roots in the insurance industry, but has spawned and spread since then. But it's nice to see, we still have a strong showing from our insurance and reinsurance family, and Team Guy Carpenter has always been a staple at our event. And, just look at the numbers, Tom's raised over $11,000, close to $11,000 in 10 years. And Chris, year after year, you are a big hitter, and you're almost at that $75,000 mark. So thank you for everything you do. And we look forward to seeing you guys.
Yeah, maybe next year one of them can actually come on stage and do the honors, but I don't trust them with the clippers quite yet.
Yeah, my concern is that if I let this one do my hair this time, it's going to be the dog tomorrow without me noticing. So,
you have a dinosaur shirt on? What is that?
I mean, he only. Oh, did you hear, Kat? He came right back. He's like, "Did somebody mention my dinosaur shirt?"
You got a dinosaur shirt? That's really cool, Declan. I like that.
Whose birthday is it on Monday? How old are you going to be? Can you tell them? 2. We do this. So we do this and stuff.
And what's your next?
Happiest of birthdays.
A boy or a girl?
We don't know. We're not going to find out.
Oh, very
good. We
good.
were surprised with this one, and that was fun, so we figured we'd try it again.
Cool. Good stuff.
No, but it's all good. You want to feel it? No, you don't want to feel it? No, he's out on that. So. All right.
All right. Well, thank you guys. It's great to see your faces. We appreciate it, and it's so wonderful to see everyone, and look forward to, of course, seeing you live next March. So now we have two new shavees. So Miles Hunter and Glenn Thomas are next on our list.
All right.
Miles, how you doing, Miles? You getting nervous? Look at that, Jamie. Whoa.
Hi, Colleen. How you doing?
Good.
Hey. I just shared that I was a shaver 20 years ago and I think it was like new. We were the only Philadelphia branch at the time doing this, of anything. But I got to be a shavee all the way back then.
Oh, did you? I didn't know that.
Not a shavee, a shaver. I got to shave.
Shaver. Oh, even more fun. Okay.
A whole bunch of other people from the Philly office. Carpenter was.
Well, Miles' hair is almost as long as yours, so this should be fun.
Getting there.
Yeah. It's the COVID.
Have you been growing it all of COVID?
I had one haircut. At Labor Day, I decided to get a haircut, but not since then.
Oh my God. Well, it looks good, but I look forward to seeing you bald. I wish your beautiful wife the best of luck of shaving that one down, or is your little one going to do it?
I think I'm ready to get rid of this hair, and so is everyone I work with.
Yeah, like Dave Grohl or something. You got like this Dave Grohl vibe.
Yeah, no.
Should we go for it? I'm gonna go for the half and half look.
Nice.
First.
I'll help you.
Gotta have a good selfie.
You can put us on mute.
I want to do it.
Yeah, I'll give you a chance. I'll give you a chance.
Do that slide first.
Which slide?
So while Miles is going as well. So Miles, of course, is familiar with the foundation and probably has been peer pressured over the years. What made you sign up this year?
So I thought I had a little something extra to contribute. That was the main driver. But I've supported friends and industry colleagues for many years and just hadn't been brave enough to sign up. And this year, like a little, the sort of cancer issue hit home a little bit. A good industry colleague, friend of mine, was diagnosed with cancer and had, pretty aggressive surgery. And a good friend of mine from going back to when I think a friend from about 10 years old and onward, was diagnosed with a really tough case and had to have, I just went through surgery last week. So it's been a tough year when it comes to cancer diagnoses, and it's just far too common. And I'm just really happy to be able to do something, to feel like I'm helping. And this is such a great foundation. And, we've been supporters for many years and just wanted to get involved a little bit more this year.
Well, thank you. We greatly appreciate it. I was over the moon when I saw your registration come through.
I need a more powerful clipper this time.
Yeah, that's good.
Might as well pull it out hair by hair.
It makes you realize how good the clippers are of our stylists when they get through the shaving in 2 seconds flat.
Okay, grab the Zoe stool.
And then
so I'm just gonna go outside ways and come this way.
So let's see now Glenn, do we have you, Glenn Thomas? Is Glenn on the call? I'm sorry.
He was having spotty service before that.
Okay. So Glenn was our last shavee with along with Miles. So now we have, hopefully. So with that being said, though, I did want to say we also have had a number of participants that have already shaved. Gloria Moy, who's been a longtime supporter, shaved earlier last week. She sent me a picture of herself earlier with her shaved head, and she's been a consistent regular at Jim Brady's. It's amazing. We've over the years had so many women that have braved the shave and gotten up on our stages, and regulars like Kat V, who was, I want to say like 20 months pregnant when she first got up on this, waddled up on the stage. we miss her, but we know she'll be back when we are live in downtown New York. But there's just so many people that have carried the foundation in their hearts and continue to make it part of their fiber. And even years that they skip, they always seem to find their way back. And with that being said, there's also people that like, Miles, who are newbies and show up and raise a ton of money and support the foundation in other ways throughout the year. So we couldn't be here, we couldn't be doing and having the best, raising the most amount of money for the best research across the globe if it wasn't for everyone showing up and really making this, continuing to make this journey with us and the foundation's journey. We hope, 21 years from now, we're here again and celebrating our 42nd event. As we said before, this event's raised over $60,000 this year. So I'm so blessed to be part of it. And of course, having Kim and Kara hold my hand throughout these years and having families like the Sheikers and the Herds and the families that we've all become one family over the years. And we share these couple hours every year. And it's so impactful in all of our lives. And we just hope that the money goes to the best research and that we one day are standing here and we can close down the foundation because we've found the necessary cures. Our researchers like Dr. Lipton, I don't know about you guys, but every time he speaks, and it's just incredible that these doctors and these healthcare providers work tirelessly to provide for our families, whether it be with COVID or for any type of cancer research, and in hopes that one day we don't have to be here. So they say the average age, I guess, with pediatric cancer diagnosis is age 6. As I look at all the young kids out there, we're so thankful that so many of them have beat cancer, and that hopefully those that are going through this journey have very happy endings and live great lives and see their hopes like Margie's come alive in the dancing, and they can be their princesses and their pirates and live great happy lives. It's just an honor. Miles, how are you doing? Let me see your head. I think you're
Yeah, it's painful. Ollie already got fired from his job. I think there's some blood somewhere.
Stick with the reinsurance broking, Jamie. This is great, though.
It's payback for lots of.
It feels like there may be blood, but there may not be.
Yeah, no, it's not as easy as it seems to shave heads, and Does anyone else want to say a couple words before we conclude?
I'd love to just say again, thank you guys so much. This is such an amazing group of people, and all the work that you put into your fundraising, between the funny emails that get sent out to the heartfelt, truly meaningful things that you say here. I have to tell you, as a bereaved mom, for me, this is like part of my, as they call it, the grief journey, but you guys make it so much brighter, and seriously, it's making a huge difference for so many families. And so on behalf of St. Baldrick's as the foundation, but also as a family touched by cancer, I cannot thank you enough for everything that you do. And Colleen and Kim and Kara, for constantly, pounding the pavement and making it happen. I can't wait to see what next year brings, and making my St. Patrick's Day special. So thanks, guys. Really appreciate you all.
Yeah, it'll be a new and bright adventure next year. So hopefully you guys can support us as we transition our event to a new location. And we're going to have our regular crew and hopefully some newbies as well. So thank you, everyone. We couldn't do the event without, of course, the support of the foundation. And, Mariella, thank you so much for helping us behind the scenes and helping us with the technology and the support there. Liza, we wish you and your family continued health and happiness and drama, I'm sure, of having 2 teenage daughters. We know how that is in my family with toddlers and teenagers. And thank you for everyone, just everyone that that takes part and stands up and is advocates in this journey. We couldn't do it without you. And Paul Quinn, who was on the call, you know, Paul, you opening the doors to this foundation and getting the roots at Jim Brady's is the impact you've had on so many lives is countless. So we appreciate it. We've had over 800 people shave their heads over the years at Jim Brady. So let's keep those numbers alive. All right, guys. Wish everyone the best of luck in the year to come, and we'll all be in touch this year, and hopefully we'll see you guys live next year. Okay, thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Guys.
Good luck, Miles.